And finally, new rule. Stop saying that Whoopi Goldberg getting yanked from The View right after she attacked me on The View is karma. There's no such thing as karma. Sorry. Sorry, but life is random. The only word to describe it when a big game hunter gets trampled by an elephant and then eaten by lions is hilarious.
They're disgusting. She's Anna Navarro in your wildest imagination. You could never solo host a show. You will only ever make it as part of an ensemble, and you could never hope to achieve the success that Tucker Carlson has. So you can sit in your little cheap seats all day long and enjoy your little negative henpecking, but your careers are going nowhere, and Tucker is about to dominate in whatever space.
It's called The View?
It's called The View. It's not called The Facts.
Yeah, but isn't it interesting that it's called, I don't think they meant this when Barbara Walters invented it a long time ago, but it's The View.
Well,
that's the problem in America.
But
there is one view,
right, and
one
that's clearly
true opinion, and everybody else can go sit in the corner.
It all started when Whoopi Goldberg threw a quick jab at Bill Maher on The View. A sharp remark slipped into a segment, probably thinking he'd just stay silent. But what came next was absolutely explosive.
I want to talk about Whoopi Goldberg because I got so many texts this week because she attacked me the week before. Sure. So everybody was like, oh, Bill, I get you're enjoying the karma. First of all, I'm going to talk about this at the end of my show next week, teaser. But there is no thing as karma, okay? Get over that. Whoopi attacks me on a regular basis. She says stupid shit on a regular basis. They just happen to coincide.
A tidal wave of backlash came crashing down, fast, loud, and ruthless. Bill Maher didn't just clap back. He demolished the whole stage from afar. No need to sit at that table or fake a grin over coffee. He went straight for the core of The View and ripped it apart, piece by piece, and then things spiraled even further. Right after Whoopi's comments aired, she was suddenly pulled from the show. Social media lit up like a firestorm, screaming karma with every post. But Maher wasn't buying that fantasy. He went live and said it straight. There's no such thing as karma. To him, life is chaotic, unfair, and sometimes so ridiculous it's funny, like a hunter getting trampled by an elephant and then eaten by lions. That's not justice, it's absurdity. Maher wasn't seeking revenge. He was mocking the very idea of cosmic payback. What really sent him over the edge was how often Whoopi throws insults and nonsense his way, and how people actually cheered when she finally stumbled.
That hot mess that they air in the mornings, called The View, had to issue not one, not two, not three, but 4 corrections, legal corrections. 4 legal notes. We only have 3 of them on camera, but look at this.
I have another legal note.
Oh, my God.
Both Trump and Pam Bondi have denied allegations of a quid pro quo. I have a legal note.
Not to mention what they did at that debate, where once again, they tried to fact check only one side, and then when their fact checks got fact checked, they cowered. They cowered in fear. I mean, this is a pattern with them.
Before we dive deeper, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. It truly helps us grow and keeps the jaw-dropping stories coming your way. Now, let's get back to the chaos. Just when it seemed like the drama couldn't possibly get more tangled, Megyn Kelly entered the scene. She never set foot on The View's stage, and she didn't need to. From a distance, she dropped a truth bomb that detonated right between their neatly arranged mugs and carefully scripted cue cards. No shouting, no drama, just sharp, controlled criticism that struck like lightning. She called the show exactly what many viewers had quietly believed for years, an overhyped echo chamber dressed up as a talk show. But Kelly didn't just stop at the opinions, she took aim at the entire format. According to her, the women weren't engaging in real conversations. They were just reading from a script built on synchronized outrage.
I mentioned this karma stuff on the show last week because I was relating how many texts and emails I got from people congratulating me on receiving a karmagram from the universe in the form of Whoopi Goldberg's chastisement. So I thought this would be a good time for a little tutorial on karma, which, as Americans understand it, is nothing more than an extension of the common logical fallacy called post hoc ergo propter hoc.
One person speaks, the rest just nod like bobbleheads, and any guest who dares to bring in a new idea gets shut down on the spot. There's no real discussion going on, just a rehearsed act. Megyn Kelly tore into the endless loop of virtue signaling, the rigid groupthink, and that fake version of empowerment that turns cruel the moment someone challenges it. And the most jaw-dropping part? The women of The View didn't say a word back. No fiery clapback, no clever comebacks, just total silence. Like deep down, they knew she had hit a raw nerve. One woman, one mic, and not a drop of mercy. And somehow, that one brutal takedown landed harder than an entire week's worth of The View's chatter.
Donald Trump will be sworn in as the 47th president of the United States, yay, on January 20th of this month. Not everyone's happy about it, and many people would like us to be more focused on the insurrection that he personally unleashed, if you ask them. As we discussed earlier, they think it's as bad as, like, the Holocaust, and you don't have to take my word for it. Here is Sunny Hostin of The View.
January 6th was an atrocity. It was one of the worst moments in American history. And when you think about the worst moments in American history, like World War II, things that happened, like the Holocaust, chattel slavery.
Yeah, the January 6th is right up there next to the Holocaust and slavery.
Now this is when the fire really ignited. Megyn Kelly didn't just throw a little shade. She dragged the whole table with her. She said The View was the place where logic goes to die, where everyone's just yelling out half-formed opinions they barely skimmed minutes before going live. Her words were brutal. She compared it to being in a class taught by people who never even opened the book. Then she dropped a bombshell. The View had to issue 4 legal corrections. Not 1, not 2, 4 times they had to walk back things they said live because they got it completely wrong. And here's the real shocker. They only owned up to 3 of them on air. That's how deep the mess went. Kelly didn't pull any punches. She claimed the hosts weren't just clueless, they were dangerous. And when they tried to fact-check others, they ended up needing fact-checks themselves. But she wasn't done. She went even further, accusing them of turning every disagreement into a full-blown soap opera meltdown.
And by the way, out there, that hat that you keep wearing, that red hat that says Make America Great Again, that tells people that you go along with this. So you might as well just put a swastika on the hat.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Because we see it anyway.
I'm not going to defend Donald Trump ever, but I would never say that we should put the swastika on the cap, because I think you can hate Donald Trump. You can't hate everybody who likes him. It's half the country. I don't want to live in that country. I don't want to live in the country where I hate half the country, and I don't hate half the country.
How dare you disagree with me?
Instead of offering viewers real debates or balanced opinions, they dish out emotional chaos disguised with cheerful grins. It feels more like a group therapy session for politically lost celebrities than a talk show. Kelly didn't just offer criticism, she tore into each host with ruthless precision. Joy. Kelly joked that Joy still acts like her boyfriend dumped her back in the 80s. Sunny Hostin? Struts around like her law degree makes her morally superior and untouchable. Alyssa Farrah Griffin? Supposedly the conservative voice, but Kelly said she's about as convincing as a vegan at a Texas barbecue. And then there's Whoopi, half moderator, half napper. This wasn't just commentary, it was a full-on takedown. While Megyn Kelly calmly dismantled the show like a sniper, Bill Maher came charging in like a wrecking ball, with a big grin on his face. I'm old enough to remember when it was the conservatives who hated the Jews. That's what Maher said. Sharp, fearless, and unapologetic. Bill Maher, who once stood as a pillar of liberal thinking, even leaning left, until, as he put it, the woke went bananas. That's the man who walked in. Watch how they talk to him. Look at Sunny Hostin's posture. Her stiff gaze, the sudden shift in energy on the entire set. It's impossible to ignore. Because Maher didn't cave to the far-left wave, they tiptoe around him. He brought up the word woke and didn't hold back one bit. Maher slammed The View for turning into a space where different opinions aren't explored. They're ambushed.
I'm old enough to remember when it was the conservatives who hated the Jews.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bill Maher, who has been the standard bearer for liberalism and in many ways leftism until the woke went bananas in this last decade, but for decades, that's what this guy has represented in America. I want you to note the tone they all talk with him. I want you to look at Sonny Hostin's body language and the way they look at him and everything else. Just because he is a lefty who hasn't gone completely bananas, here they are talking about the word woke.
He said it's not even a talk show anymore. It's synchronized outrage. Everyone getting mad right on cue like they rehearsed it. And if anyone dares to challenge their routine, total panic sets in. Suddenly, it's time for the cooking segment. Bring in the soft lighting. Pretend nothing just exploded on live TV. The moment gets swept away like it never happened. Maher didn't hold back. He went straight for the hypocrisy. He called it out, loud and clear.
Whoopi Goldberg was angry when Alyssa pointed out that Trump went to the funeral of Officer Diller.
Yes.
On Long Island, and Joe Biden went to a podcast. Look at Whoopi Goldberg's reaction.
Choose what you like there, but for Republicans, it was good imagery.
Really?
One day later, yes.
And I'm asking that because I was so offended because you know who showed up.
Yeah.
And he was, whether he was asked or not. This is a man who didn't care what happened to the officers on January 6th.
She promotes Joe Biden and Kamala Harris every day on that show. Trump wasn't supportive enough of the cops who were, yes, in danger on J6. How does that explain their behavior on a daily basis?
He said, you can't claim to support open dialogue when every guest with a different take gets dogpiled like a toddler in a ball pit full of bees. And he didn't stop there. You can't preach tolerance while treating opposing views like hate crimes. That line hit like a sledgehammer. Maher wasn't talking about just politics anymore. He was calling out a toxic culture that silences disagreement with over-the-top drama instead of real reasoned debate. And then came the line, the one that left jaws hanging open from coast to coast.
The term woke has been, in my view, co-opted by the right and weaponized and bastardized. And so I was surprised to hear you use the term because historically, as you know, because I think you're quite brilliant, that woke is a word used by the black community to note that we must be aware of social injustices.
But words migrate.
So why is that a bad thing?
It's not a bad thing, and originally that was absolutely a great thing. Alert to injustice, who's not for that? But words do migrate. Now, I'll use any term you want.
Okay.
Because maybe that is a word that's triggering, and so let's not use that word. I don't know, want to call it the super far left, but don't tell me the left
or maybe the super far right.
Well, he's talking about the left.
Well, then
okay, but we talked about that. I mean, I think we agree about the danger of the super far right.
You can hate Trump, but you can't hate everyone who likes him. That line was a direct hit, sharp, undeniable, and impossible to spin. Maher reminded everyone that half the country supported Trump at some point, and writing off all of them as evil isn't progress, it's delusion. And here's what made it all the more powerful. Maher didn't shout once, no raised voice, no dramatic flair, just raw truth delivered with calm confidence and a knowing smirk. Not a single host could touch him, but the wreckage wasn't over. He kept going. This time, he went straight for The View's carefully curated image of being a safe space for women's voices. He ripped that mask right off and exposed the truth, a toxic clique that silences any woman who dares to stray from their script. And he didn't just talk about it, he brought receipts. Meghan McCain? Gone. Candace Cameron Bure? Gone.
We had a discussion on The View about world superpowers from the sound of it. That's how they got into it. And Sonny Hostin made some comments about patriotism and America and Black America. It's all in there, Jason. I mean, it's all in there. I'm going to tee it up. It starts with Alyssa Farah, who's supposed to be the Republican commentator. And then you'll hear Sonny jump in.
Even liberal hosts who dared to voice a slightly different opinion were met with those icy, soul-piercing glares that practically screamed, "You're done here." Maher didn't sugarcoat it. He said this wasn't empowerment, it was daytime TV's version of Mean Girls with microphones. The show didn't promote open dialogue, it punished it. One off-script comment, and you were emotionally wiped out before the next ad break. Real empowerment means women can disagree without it turning into chaos. But on The View, disagreement wasn't just uncomfortable, it was treated like a threat. Every host looked like they were walking on eggshells, terrified that one wrong word would get them exiled by the sisterhood of the eternally offended. And Maher didn't stop there. He slammed the show for being consistently outraged. Moral panic activated every time someone uttered free speech without a warning label. You don't last long at that table unless you stick to the script. And that script only allows for one opinion. And just when it seemed Megyn Kelly had wrapped up her takedown, she came back with the kill shot. She didn't just critique the tone or content, she obliterated the entire formula like a botched science experiment. Her message cut deep. Raising your voice doesn't make you right. And just because 5 people agree doesn't mean they're correct. It means they've created a cushioned echo chamber with matching mugs. Kelly compared watching The View to sitting through a class led by people who never even opened the textbook. Every topic, every hot take felt like improv based on headlines they barely grasped, but they acted like experts. What made it all the more brutal? Her delivery. No yelling, no theatrics, just calm, lethal precision. Every line hit like a punch in slow motion. And when she was done, silence. No clap back from The View. No fiery rebuttal. Not even a passive-aggressive segment. Because how do you argue with someone who never stepped on set, but still managed to demolish the entire foundation? That's when it became clear. Kelly didn't just critique The View, she exposed it. And they had no defense. Then Bill Maher turned the heat up, aiming the spotlight at how The View deals with serious political issues, especially anything about Trump or January 6th. And what he showed was downright humiliating. He played actual clips of Sonny Hostin comparing the Capitol riot to the Holocaust and slavery. Yes, that level of wild. Maher didn't even need to exaggerate. It was all said live on national TV. He made it painfully obvious. The View has a pattern. If the topic is Trump, they don't just analyze, they melt down. Suddenly, every moment becomes the end of democracy as we know it. And if anyone dares to offer a calm, middle ground take, boom, chaos erupts. Maher mocked their unraveling, saying, "The View doesn't host debates. It airs televised tantrums." He even brought up the infamous MAGA hat debate, where one of the hosts actually said wearing it was like wearing a swastika. Maher didn't defend Trump, but he couldn't stay silent about the madness of that comparison. Disliking Trump is one thing, but hating half the country for supporting him? That's a whole different monster, and Maher had had enough.